And now it's time for Julia. We first met her long before she was Hollywood's Pretty Woman, but it was that memorable role that put Julia on the A-list.
Pretty woman walking down the street.
In 1990, Julia walked down Rodeo Drive and into our hearts.
Mercy.
She's a good-hearted person. She's a little misguided, but she's a good girl. I like her.
The year before, we were on the Pretty Woman set with Julia, right in front of our eyes, becoming the star that director Gary Marshall knew she would be.
Julia Roberts, I think, is going to be a big movie star of the 90s.
That was an understatement. But then she was filming the fairy tale of a Hollywood working girl swept away by wealthy businessman Richard Gere.
They're two kind of lost souls who find each other and then find themselves through each other, you know? And so it's kind of a coming together.
Julia had not met Marshall before the film, but she made an immediate impression.
She didn't sit much. She came into my office and never sat in a chair. Sat on the edge of a chair, but because she never sat down, I use that in Pretty Woman. If you watch Pretty Woman, she never sits in a chair until the very last scene at the opera.
We had actually met Julia 3 years before that.
So we're coming out of the woods, yes?
That's her behind her brother, Eric Roberts, who was the big star on the Blood Red set. Julia had a bit part.
It's my sister Julia's first film, and we're having a great time.
Our first chat with Julia, with floppy hat and flyaway hair, was in 1988, describing her Mystic Pizza character. She could have been describing herself.
She's just very vivacious, very high-spirited, spunky.
And ambitious.
I'm gonna be slinging pizza for the rest of my life.
I don't know. I mean, you know, whatever happens, happens. I'm just the same as I was before I made Mystic Pizza.
But what did happen was Julia's first Oscar nomination the next year for Steel Magnolias.
This has been the happiest day of my life, Daddy.
I think that Pretty Woman sometimes gets all the credit, which sort of takes away credit from Mystic Pizza and Steel Magnolias, which I was nominated for an Oscar for. So I don't want to spread it around, but that is kind of a little like, we think you're doing a good job.
She had started filming Steel Magnolias in the summer of 1988. The newcomer was thrilled to be working with Shirley MacLaine, Sally Field, Dolly Parton, Daryl Hannah, and Olympia Dukakis.
Having just started out, basically, it doesn't get any better than this, you know?
A year later, working on Pretty Woman, she still felt the impact of Steel Magnolias.
It was great to work on, and I was very happy, and I learned a lot, and working with the women was great. I was with all these women, and there was this enormous wealth of information about everything. These women were dropping these pieces of information like wet sponges, and I was running around picking them all up, like, I want to keep this one, and I want to remember this, and, you know, so it was a big time for me, because we were all friends. I mean, it was like, it's like being at camp, only you had to work, you know. There was a great atmosphere. We got along really well.
She went to the London premiere where she met Princess Diana and Prince Charles. And a couple of months after she came home, she made her first trip to the Oscars as a nominee for Best Supporting Actress.
Nerves all over the place, everywhere, head to toe, nerves. I was here at rehearsal today, really nervous, just walking out in like my kids and my jeans to present a nomination, so it's very heady. I'm very excited.
A year later, she was back, this time up for Best Actress, thanks to Pretty Woman.
Julia, can you sum up in one word what's going through your mind right now?
Everything.
Has there ever been a night like this before in your career?
No, not like this.
But by 2001, nominated for Erin Brockovich and with then-boyfriend Benjamin Bratt by her side, Julia was an Oscar red carpet veteran.
I'm excited, but frighteningly calm.
There are no nerves tonight.
Winning changed that, however.
How are you feeling now? Are you breathing now?
Barely.
Where's it gonna go? I have no idea. What's the rest of the night like for you? I have no idea. I've never done this. This is yeah, I don't know.
That same year, she was saluted by the Museum of the Moving Image. A montage of clips from her movies left her embarrassed.
This is one of the most hideous things that can ever happen to a person, really, is to have to watch your movies and your eyebrows change like that. It's so embarrassing. I didn't start plucking till like 91.
She's a great movie star and a great actress and great girl.
And just recently, of course, have come SAG and Golden Globe nominations for August Osage County.
That's pleasant.
But perhaps Julia's proudest accomplishment is the family she's created with her husband, Danny Motor, who she married in 2002. He was her cameraman in 2007, shooting fireflies in the garden in Austin, Texas.
He was so supportive, and it was great being pregnant and there and just feeling like we were just together all the time, and we had the kids there. I mean, we were there all summer. That's the fun side of getting to make movies like this.
So much has changed with Julia since this 1989 visit, and 10 years later, she reflected on it.
To me, I was still really shy and insecure and thrust into this very odd working environment where one would imagine you have to be very confident. And I wasn't. And now I come in, full loads, ready to roll all the time.
How about that, Time Warp? It is so much fun to see that stuff, and she is definitely still at the top of her game in August Osage County.